We are going to get started today laying down, so I'd like to invite you to take a nice, comfortable resting position on your mat and find whatever feels good for you. We'll start in a nice guided meditation, just resting, laying down. Once you find your nice, cozy resting position, gently draw your eyes closed, and we'll take the next couple of moments to allow ourselves to simply arrive here and now in our practice and on our mats. Allow yourself to begin to navigate from the outside, the external world, shifting your awareness inwards. Maybe you begin to connect with the feeling of the breath. But give yourself a couple moments to simply settle before connecting with the breath. So take your time. Let your body begin to gently rest down towards the ground beneath you. Soften the back of your head towards the mat. Relax your shoulders down. Let the hips sink as the legs fall heavy. Surrender your body. Surrender your weight. Surrender the weight within the mind as well. So anything that you're holding on to, any thoughts that keep stirring, surrender them. Let them dissolve to the support, the holding of the ground beneath you. Today we are going to practice the act of surrendering, of letting go. Right now, the ground is here to hold us, to support us. How much can you physically let go? To trust the support of the ground. Let yourself be held. Almost imagining as though your physical body is a giant heavy winter coat from head to toe, and you unzip it, just letting it go, letting it fall towards the ground, letting all the heaviness of the physical world just melt away. And as we practice the act of surrendering, the breath is one thing that happens naturally. One thing that we don't necessarily control. So we tune into the spirit behind the breath, the weightlessness, the ease, as we feel the entirety of the inhales and exhales. How effortless the breath flows in and out of the body, whether we're consciously paying attention to it or not. Begin to feel the inhales and exhales, whether that's within the nostrils, the chest, or the belly. And observe that almost magical quality to them, the spirit behind every inhale and exhale, surrendering to the unknown, almost the mystery of the breath. Take a couple more moments to simply be with your breath, feeling the entirety of your inhales and exhales and practicing letting go of attachment to anything else that's happening within or around you right now. If you'd like to stay simply resting on your mat, spending time and being with the feeling of the breath, then by all means, feel free to stay here as long as you want to. If at any point during practice this evening you'd like to come back to this posture or do anything else that inspires you, again, tonight, this time is for you. So give yourself what you need most. Surrender to your intuitive being within. If and when you'd like to begin to flow, follow an inhale to give yourself a nice full body stretch. So we'll straighten the legs, hands reach above the head, and then pull the hands and feet in opposite directions, stretching the body long. On the exhale, gently hug the knees in towards you, wrapping your arms around the legs, giving yourself a nice loving hug. If it feels good, you can gently rock side to side. Give yourself a little back massage. Keep your awareness in your body. So notice what you feel tonight in the hips, the back, maybe the shoulders, the neck. Just observe and love where you're at right now. Our first flow together, we are going to be doing laying down. So when you're ready, on an exhale, place the feet flat on the ground, and the feet will be as wide as your mat or just a little bit less wide, somewhere that feels comfortable to place the feet down, but definitely wider than your hips. Hands can be at a T shape or just less than a T shape. So we're going to pause here for a big moment. Take an inhale. On your exhale, drop the knees over toward the left-hand side. They'll just kind of float in space, that's okay. Inhale, legs to center, doing a moving meditation. Exhale, knees towards the right. When your inhale arises, lift the knees. On the exhale, left, pause once you hit the left-hand side. And we'll pause here for a couple moments. Maybe you look over the right hand. If you want to take the stretch a little bit deeper, you'll lift the left foot up off the mat and place it on the outside of that right knee. So that's going to drag that right knee down towards the mat a little bit and increase the stretch on the outside of that right hip. So if that doesn't feel okay, then please avoid that stretch. But if it feels okay, you could stay there. Let's take one more big breath on the side. Beautiful. If your foot's over the knee, gently lower it back down. On your next inhale, knees come back to center. Let's flow again. So exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Follow your own breath. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Pause on the right once you get there. So exhale, right. Maybe you look over your left shoulder. And again, your choice if you want to take it one step deeper. This time, maybe lifting the right foot up off the ground and placing it on the outside of the left knee or thigh. Again, this just exaggerates the stretch on the outer left hip. And this is kind of where we're going to be focusing this evening, on the outside of the hip and the IT band. 2 more big breaths, soften into the stretch. 1 more breath. When your next inhale arises, if your foot's on the knees, set it down and bring the knees back up to center. Pause here, exhale. Inhale, straighten your left leg towards the mat. Exhale, right knee comes in towards you and just gently clasp the hands around that leg. Resting the hands on the shin and just gently allowing that right knee to come in towards the chest. Breathe here gently, relax the shoulders. Soften the back of your neck. 1 more big breath. On your exhale, knee comes across the body, coming towards a twist. Arms come to a T shape. Pause here. If this feels like a deep enough stretch, you're going to stay exactly as you are. If you want to continue to work into the IT band, the outer right hip, you'll begin to straighten your right leg, maybe making it perpendicular to your torso. As you straighten it, flex the foot and press the heel forward. Should get some sort of stretch on the outside of your right leg. Maybe again, you look over the right shoulder. Maybe you place the left hand on the outside of the right leg. The further up that right foot is towards your left shoulder, the deeper of a stretch it'll be. So you can play around with that as well. One more big breath. Beautiful. On your inhale, bend the knee, come back up to center. On the exhale, fallen tree. So the knee's going to continue to go out toward the right-hand side now. The right foot's going to come towards the inside of the left thigh, opening up the right hip now. You can place your hands on your belly, maybe on the inner thigh, or just down by your sides. Wherever you are, keep pressing the left hip down towards the mat. So you press the left knee down, flex the left toes towards you so the left leg's active. Breathe through what you feel, whether this is a significant or just a minor stretch for you. Just try to notice what you feel and be here with it. One more big breath. Inhale, gently bring your knee back to center. Maybe you give it a quick hug. On the exhale, straighten the leg down. Same little flow on the other side. So inhale, hug the left knee in towards you for a couple moments. Breathe through what you feel. And rather than yanking the left knee down towards you, just let your hands kind of hang heavy on the legs. Relax the arms. Relax your jaw. Breathe deeply. Stay in the body. One more big breath here. On your next exhale, gently drop the leg across the body, coming into the twist. And again, pause here, check out, notice how it feels. Arms come to a T shape. In your choice, maybe you experiment on this side with straightening the leg out. And just notice how it feels. If it doesn't check out okay, then there's no need to go into it. Your choice. If you do have the legs straight, flex the left toes, press the left heel toward the right-hand side. Relax the jaw, breathe through what you feel. Maybe you look over the left hand. Find where this works in your body. One more big, beautiful breath here. On your next inhale, bend the knee, gently come back up to center. When your exhale arises, knee goes out toward the left-hand side, now fallen tree. So inside of that left foot comes to the inside of the right thigh. Let the leg open up. As the right leg, the knee presses down and the toes pull back towards you, activating the leg. Press that right hip down towards the mat, resist its lift. And again, hands can rest anywhere that feels good for you. Soften your shoulders, relax the jaw. Again, breathe through what you feel. Try to notice what you feel here. And again, just let yourself be with it. Take a couple more big breaths. One more full round of breath. Whenever your next inhale arises, gently bring your knee back to center. Maybe you give it a quick hug. And then exhale, straighten the leg down to the mat. Full body stretch now. So just like we did in the beginning, hands reach towards the back of the room, feet pull forward. Inhale. Exhale, give yourself a big hug. Apanasana. Hands wrap around the legs. Maybe you add a gentle rock side to side. And just notice how you feel. This is our first flow of class, so I'll recap for you. Your choice if you want to do all, some, or none of it, totally up to you. But if you want to incorporate some of the flow, we started with the feet spread wide on the mat, and we dropped the knees side to side for a couple rounds. We eventually landed on one side and moved into a twist, and it was up to you whether you wanted to place the foot on the outside of the knee to add a little bit extra of the stretch there. We then flowed again, landed on the opposite side. From there, we did the little flow laying on the backs with the legs, so we hugged the knee in. We then went across the body with the possibility to straighten the leg, and then we took the knee out to the other side in what I like to call fallen tree pose. Then from there, same thing other side. So we hugged in, twisted, maybe with straight leg, and then opened up to the other side. And then just as a reset, we simply stretched long and then hugged it in. So again, I'll sit up, give you one more recap. So it was the leg flow, dropping the knees side to side, maybe pausing on a side here and there. Then we did the individual leg flows where we hugged it in, went across the body, opting to straighten the leg, and then came back to the other side, opening up the hips. So we did that on each side, and then full body stretch and hugged it in. So take your time. If you want to repeat that flow, feel free to do so. If you want to do some of it or none of it, find what works for you tonight. And of course, I will be here to guide your awareness and where you place your mind. So find what works for you for the next couple of moments and let yourself just be in your body, feeling the goodness of every shape you make. Gently keep your awareness on our theme for the evening. How can I surrender? Maybe notice what comes up for you. How can you surrender the mind to this moment? What does that mean? How can you surrender your body? Again, what does that mean for you? How can you simply surrender to the breath, to here and now? Again, notice what simply comes up for you and see if you can incorporate that aspect into your flow, to your body, mind, to the present moment. So much of the time in life, we try to gain control over things. We like habitual patterns, things that are predictable, reliable, because it makes us feel like we have the upper hand or we're in control and we can dictate where our lives are going. But so much of the time, at the end of the day, we begin to realize that control is simply an illusion. Surrendering causes us or prompts us to have to let go of the ego, release the mind stuff, the illusion that makes us feel like we're in control, which can be very scary at times. But under that fear, there's this beautiful lining of peace, a trust in something potentially bigger than ourselves, a knowing that everything's going to be all right. How can you surrender right now? Letting yourself just be as you are and knowing that right now you are enough. You are perfect, mind, body, and soul. And you're exactly where and how you need to be. And find your way to feeling the breath if and when the mind wanders. Again, coming back to the breath is the act of surrendering the mind. The mind exists either in the future or the past. We must surrender those thinking tasks, the worries, the shoulds, whatever it is, in order to fully come to the present moment. To feel We just be. We allow ourselves to become aware. Can you feel the entirety of this moment, of your body, of the breath? Surrendering the illusions of the mind, the promptness, if that's a word, of what your mind thinks you need to be thinking about right now. Let all that illusion go, for all we have right now is this very moment. Let yourself just be fully here and now. How can I surrender even more? How can I let go? How can I let be? Again, whenever your mind trails off to the past, the future, to creations of the mind, find your way back to the spirit through the breath. Again, find your way to the magic within, the beautiful unknown that keeps us pulling air in and out, that keeps the heart beating. While the breath is something that is where the mind can focus as a tool, for me, spending time with the breath is so much more than just a meditation device. It's spending time with something bigger than myself. From the moment we're born, we take our first breath, and when we pass on from this world, we take our last. There's something so spiritual about the breath, something bigger than ourselves. So maybe you dive into that aspect of the breath, letting yourself feel that almost magical quality of it. Whenever you complete your flow, and by all means, if you want to keep flowing as you're doing, or add something on, or just rest, whenever you complete it, just take a couple moments to press pause, let go of any sort of movement, and simply observe where you're at right now, surrendering any judgment towards your mind, towards yourself, towards what's happening in this moment. Let yourself just be. Again, you have all the time you need. If you want to begin to transition, we will eventually make our way to a child's pose. So maybe you take a couple rocks side to side or up and down your mat. Maybe you roll to one side. Maybe you roll up. Take a forward fold or tabletop cat-cows, and maybe transition to child's pose. So find the transition that works in your body and your practice right now, and we'll eventually meet up in a nice child's pose. Again, you have all the time you need, so only meet up when you're ready. Once you make your way to tabletop, big toes touch, knees spread wide, and you'll sink your hips back, resting your body down. Child's pose is an awesome posture for grounding. The head, the heart, the hips are all close towards the earth. It's a posture that evokes safety, security. So take a couple moments to melt in here, breathing through the back body, staying in the body with the breath, letting yourself feel. Again, surrender the mind. Let go of the to-do list. Let go of external, internal distractions. When you're ready to move, follow an inhale to come on up to tabletop position, hands and knees. And we're going to begin our next flow in downward facing dog. So curl the toes under, lift the knees, and exhale. Press those hips on back, down dog. So take a couple moments here. Find what's going on in your body today. So maybe you pedal out the feet, open up the backs of the legs a bit, shift the weight forward and back or side to side. We'll be here for about 3 more big breaths. So you do you, find what works right now. Move the body however it feels good. Breathe deeply. Alrighty, on your next inhale, begin to shift forward to plank pose. As you do so, hug the right knee in towards the chest. So you can take a look at me if that's a little confusing. On your exhale, we're going to straighten the right leg out towards the left. So the outside edge of your foot's going to be on the left-hand side off your mat. Again, feel free to take a peek up if that's confusing. So we're working on a stretch into the outside of the leg, almost making the same shape like we did in the twist with straightening the leg. So if this feels like an intense stretch, you're going to stay right here. If you want to move a little bit further into this stretch, you'll begin to allow the hips to hunker down towards the mat until you receive the stretch that feels good for you. Now, if at any point it feels like too much, you can definitely stack pillows or blocks and place that under the hip and allow your hips to rest on it. So find where this works for you, gently lowering the hip towards the mat, just to the distance where it feels okay in your body. Keep flexing that right foot, toes pulled back towards you, heel presses towards the left. We'll be here for a couple more breaths. Breathing deeply. One more big breath. Now, if your hips are pretty far down, on your next inhale, you're going to lift them up. So use the strength of your core, lift on up, and we're going to move to fallen triangle pose. So you're going to keep the right foot exactly where it's at, but then you're going to lower the left heel towards the mat, towards the midline. As you do so, left hand's going to come up off the mat. So again, feel free to look at me so your left foot's flat on the ground. The outside blade of your right foot's pressing down. Left hand's reaching up towards the ceiling, and we're really pressing the hips up towards the sky, pressing through the palm of the bottom hand. Let's take 2 more big breaths. Pull the belly up towards the ceiling. 1 more big breath. Beautiful. Exhale, left hand comes down. Inhale, bring that right knee back into the chest. Exhale, step it back. We're going to move through a vinyasa next, so your choice whether the knees are lifted or lowered. On an exhale, gently lower your heart down towards the mat. Inhale, low cobra, peel the heart up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Curl the toes under, press the hips up and back. We'll be in down dog for about 5 big breaths. So again, your choice whether you add movement here or begin to settle in a stagnant downward facing dog. If you are just in down dog without movement, press the heels down. Claw the mat with the finger pads. Lift the forearms up away from the ground. Low belly pulls in. 1 more big breath. Now we're going to do that same stretching flow on the other side now. So when your next inhale arises, shift forward to plank. As you do so, left knee hugs in towards the belly or chest. On your exhale, left foot goes out toward the right hand side. So pause here. This might be enough as you straighten that left leg, toes curl in, left heel presses toward the right hand side. If this feels like enough of a stretch on the outside of that right leg, you are going to stay right here. If you want to go a little further, maybe you inch that left foot towards the right a little more and begin to allow the hips to hover lower towards the ground. Find where the stretch feels okay for you, and by all means, you can put padding or any sort of prop underneath the hip and relax onto that as well. Totally fine. Couple more big breaths. Keep pressing through the ground, lifting the chest. Relax the jaw, breathe to the hip, 2 more breaths. 1 more. All right, we're gonna move to fallen triangle. So this time, right heel falls in towards the midline. The foot comes flat on the ground as you then pivot and reach that right hand up towards the ceiling. Hips press up towards the ceiling as well. Pause here for a couple big breaths. Keep driving the belly button up towards the sky. 2 more breaths, you got it. 1 more. Exhale, top hand comes down. Inhale, bring that left knee in towards the chest. Exhale, step it back. Lower yourself down towards the mat. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Pause in your down dog for about 5 big breaths. Again, no need to count, just pause and feel your breath, more so than making it a mental task and counting. Breathe through the body. Breathe into the outer hips. And when you're ready, our reset posture is going to be child's pose. So find an inhale to tabletop position, hands and knees. Exhale, sink those hips back to the heels and rest your body down. If it feels good, you can gently sway the hips side to side, adding a nice little stretch to the outer hips. Breathe through what you feel. And just notice, become aware, come back to the body after those intense stretches. Alrighty, I'm going to recap for you. You can stay exactly as you are, or take a peek up and watch me as I demonstrate the flow 1 more time. So we started in a downward facing dog. Pause there for however it felt good. And then we started by hugging the knee in, shifting forward to plank, and then kicking the foot out towards the side, crossing the body. So this was the IT band stretch, and you could lower as far as it felt good for you. Paused here, and then possibly made our way to fallen triangle. So the heel, the back heel, falls in towards the midline, foot comes flat on the ground, hand reaches up, and my hips go up towards the ceiling. Pause here for a couple breaths. We came back down, made our way back to plank, and moved through the vinyasa, lowering down, inhaling, low cobra up dog, and exhale, down dog. And then we reset. Same thing on the other side. So again, came through, kicked the leg out, reached on up. Again, pausing each of these for a couple breaths. Came back down, flowed through our vinyasa, and then went to down dog. Eventually made our way to beautiful child's pose. So again, as a recap, you can do some, all, none of that, but it was down dog, came through to that IT band stretch, the leg across the body, then maybe opened up to fallen triangle, and then once we were done with those postures, vinyasa, so lower down, inhaled up dog, exhaled down dog, repeated the same flow on the other side. So again, your choice if you want to continue on with that, play around with it. No need to go as far as we went. Find where it works in your body, and I'll be here to guide your awareness. So find where this works for you. Wherever you are, stay with the breath. Take full breaths. Breathing through the body. And if you are approaching the flow that we just did, how can you surrender? And in this aspect, we're going to add, how can I surrender the mind, the ego, where I feel like I should go? How can we surrender all of that and listen to our bodies and meet ourselves where we're at today? Sometimes the outer hips, the IT bands can be quite tight, and that's okay. How can you find where to meet your body where you're at right now? How can you find love for your present moment and what you feel in your body? Breathe through the body, notice what you feel, and only flow, only go to where it feels good for you. More than anything, take these moments to be with yourself, letting everything else go. Whenever your mind wanders and takes you out of your body, out of this time, space, off your mat, or out of this room you're in, find your way back to feeling the inhales and the exhales. Feel your beautiful breath in your body. Notice how you can surrender your body to whatever shape you're in right now. Breathing deeply, softening maybe the areas of the body that may not be necessary to hold whatever shape you're in. Softening the jaw, maybe the shoulders. How can you surrender the body? No matter how much your mind may want to take you elsewhere, that's okay. Possibly surrender the idea that you need to be keeping track of your mind, that you need to be here and now. The mind's job's to think, so notice when it leaves, when it goes away, and simply bring it back. Let go of any judgment around where the mind should be. Surrender any aspect. Just let yourself be with your beautiful self. Feel the breath. When the mind wanders, notice and bring it back. Let go of judgment. And if you're still flowing, please feel free to do so. Take all the time that you need. Again, whenever you complete your flow, just take a couple moments to simply be with yourself, to feel the mind, the body, and where you're at throughout your practice tonight. Maybe you just pause and take a couple moments to feel the entirety of your inhales and your exhales without movement. And just let yourself be. And if and when you're ready to move on to our final flow of class, we will eventually meet up resting on our bellies. So again, take your time. If there's any other postures or shapes you want to make on your way there, whether you decide to move on or not, we will eventually meet up resting on the bellies. Again, take all the time you need. No need to move with me. This is your time to be with you. If you do want to meet resting on the belly, maybe you stack the palms and rest a forehead or a cheek. Take a couple moments, breathing deeply. We're going to work through a couple gentle back bends and leg stretches here. So whenever your next inhale arises, gently lift the head up off the hands. And then we'll bring the elbows directly under the shoulders. So 90-degree bend in the elbows, hands with the palms face down. We're going to start with half bow pose. So to start, pivot the left hand so it's directly in front of your face. It'll be about a 45-degree angle from where we just were. On your next inhale, so big exhale, inhale, bend your right knee, flex the foot. From here, after your next exhale, we'll inhale and wrap around, grabbing the outside of the ankle. So pause here. Whenever your next inhale arises, kick the foot in towards the hand. So try to keep both of your shoulders facing the front of your room rather than opening that right shoulder out to the side. As best you can, keep the right thigh pressing towards the mat as you kick the foot back. So this is a chest opener. Gently pull the low belly in and up, helping protect the low back, and breathe deeply. Let's take one more big breath on this side. Beautiful job. Exhale, set the foot down, and then bring the right elbow under the right shoulder, and we're going to swap our hands out. So the right hand comes into front of the face. Inhale, bend your left knee now, flex the foot, and then reach on back, grab the left foot with the left hand. Again, shoulders square off towards the front of the room. As you kick the foot back, should feel a nice opening in the chest. Continue to press the left thigh towards the mat, low belly pulls in. Couple more big breaths here, you got it. One more big breath. Beautiful. On your exhale, release, swap the arms out. So again, left elbow comes down, set the left foot down, left hand in front of the face now. So if bow pose felt good for you and you want to do that again, you're going to stay right there. We are going to move to half frog pose next. It can be a very, very deep bend in the knee. So if at any point it feels like too much, please just make your way on out. No need to go super deep. So for frog pose, same thing. We're going to bend that right knee, but this time instead of flexing the foot, we're going to point the toes. If this feels like enough of a stretch, you are going to stay right here. Let's move in little portions so we find where this works in each of our bodies. On your next inhale, maybe you come back and grasp the foot. maybe you just begin to start pulling the foot towards you. Again, if that's enough, you're going to stay right here. For frog pose, if you want to begin to make your way even further, you're going to take your pointer finger and insert it between the big toe and the toe next to it. So almost like a flip-flop. And then maybe you begin to lift the elbow, allowing the hand to sink into the foot. The heel begins to make its way towards the ground besides you. Again, this is a very deep stretch in the knee, so only go to where this works in your body. It might just be a subtle stretch. So pause for a couple moments, keep pressing through that left hand and elbow. Breathe through the front of the right leg. 2 more big breaths. 1 more. Beautiful. Inhale, come on out. Swap on over to the other side. So set the leg down. Right elbow comes down. Right hand in front of the face. Lift the left leg. Inhale. Again, maybe this is enough. Pause here, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. If you want to go a little further, maybe you reach the left hand back. Maybe that's enough. Maybe it's just a subtle stretch right there. Maybe pointer finger goes between big toe and the toe next to it, and you begin to pivot so the fingertips face forward, hand rests on the outside of the foot. Maybe you begin to draw the heel on the foot towards the ground beside you. Again, this is a very deep stretch, so only go to where it works in your body. Couple more big breaths. Keep pressing the hand down into the mat, the right hand. Breathe through the front of that left leg. 2 more big breaths. 1 more breath. Beautiful. Inhale, release, and come on down for a moment. So stack the palms, forehead, chin, cheek, rest down, whatever works in your body. Breathe deeply. All right, we have 2 options for our last posture. So option A is going to be locust pose, where we'll do the version where we have the hands by the sides, and on an inhale, all the limbs are going to lift up off the ground. So that's option A. If you're feeling open in the back body this evening, maybe option B is full bow pose. So flexing the feet, bending the knees, and then kicking the feet towards the hands, all right? So I'm going to guide for bow pose, but if you're feeling locust tonight, then by all means go to locust pose. So on your next inhale, bend the knees, flex the feet if you're going to bow pose, and then wrap the hands around the outer ankles. Exhale. On your next inhale, kick the feet back, lift the heart, pause here for a couple breaths, and let's try to keep the thighs on the mat, really working into the upper spine here. Couple more big breaths. Surrender to the posture. Relax the jaw. 1 more full breath. On your exhale, slowly lower down. Stack the palms, rest the forehead or the cheek. Keep the knees bent, and then just allow the feet to drop side to side like windshield wipers. So even if you were in locust pose, let those feet drop side to side. That'll begin to relieve the knees from the deep flexion they were in frog pose, and also the low back from the back bends. Couple more big breaths, and eventually allow the legs to come all the way back to the ground. So again, feel free to rest and just listen to my voice if you want to move on to the flow. If you're done with any postures or just want to do anything else, by all means feel free to do so. If you want to move through this flow once again, we started with half bow pose. So we bent one knee, grasped the outside of the ankle, flexed the foot, and kicked back, keeping the shoulders square towards the front of the room and thigh flush with the ground beneath you. And then we paused and did the other side. From there, we moved to half frog pose. So again, keeping the arm on an angle out in front of us. This time, we pointed the toe up towards the ceiling, maybe just grasped around and that was enough of a stretch. Maybe we began to work, pointer finger between the big toe and the one next to it, fingertips spiral forward, and then began to press just gently the hand down, moving the foot down as well. From there, we rested for a couple moments after we did each side, and then had an option for either locust or bow pose. So again, find the flow that works for you. We then rested and made sure to go to windshield wiper with the legs, just relieving the knees and the low back. Play around with that flow. Find where it works for you. Again, find where your body wants to be tonight. If and when you're done with the back bends, then please, please, please move to a child's pose and then a forward fold. So that'll relieve any pressure or tension in the low back. So then move towards a forward fold, but not until you're completely done with the back bends. So again, we did half bow on each side, half frog on each side, and then either locust or bow pose. Take as many rest breaks as you need, and again, no need to go through all of that. Take your time, play around with the flow, do what feels good in your body. Again, your choice, whether you do all, none, or some of that. Go to where your body wants to be this evening. Again, stay with your breath in your body, and especially in these back bends and deeper stretches, relax the jaw, soften your gaze. There should be no pinching or pain, especially in the low back or knees. If you are feeling any sensations as such, please make your way out of them. Find where your body wants to be tonight. Notice where your mind is at. What are you thinking about right now? Really try to answer that question. If your mind has taken you anywhere else than here and now, just notice, observe. If and when you are ready to return to the present moment, find your way to feeling the breath. And notice we're not thinking about the breath, we're not counting it, we're not making it a mental task. We're physically bringing the awareness, we're dropping the mind to the body. We're feeling the inhales and exhales. Feeling is a present moment activity, so whether you're feeling where you're getting the sensation in a posture or feeling the inhales and exhales in your body, you're allowing your mind to surrender, to come to the present moment, fully here and now. So link your mind to a feeling task within. Allow your mind to surrender to the body, to the present moment, letting everything else just melt away. And though this task may be easier said than done, try to release any judgment when your mind does want to think, when it wants to wander. That's its job. That's what it's here to do. It serves a vital function for us. We're not here to shut it off, but to enjoy its presence and simply redirect our awareness. Breathe deeply. Feel the body. Feel the breath. Notice if you're holding tension or energy anywhere in the body that may not be necessary to hold the shape you are in. Maybe you soften the gaze, relax the jaw, soften your shoulders. When we physically soften and relax the body, the mind softens as well. Allow yourself to melt into the moment, knowing that everything right now, everything is exactly as it should be. And only when we can align our minds and truly accept and acknowledge that truth, we find true peace. We find heaven here on earth. If you're still flowing, please, please, please take your time, honor your body and your practice. If you've completed your back bends, please transition through a child's pose or a forward fold of some sort and truly breathe through the low back, the back body. Give your knees and the low back the space, the breath that they need. And again, before we meet up for the closing of class, take a couple moments. Press pause, let yourself take a couple full breaths and just be with the breath. Be with yourself exactly as you are. And for our final postures of class, if you haven't taken a forward fold yet, I strongly encourage that you take one, but we will take one more seated stretch, a nice spinal twist. So we'll meet up with the legs extended out in front of us, feet flexing, knees pressing down. Take a big inhale here. Let's exhale through the mouth. Let it all go. One more time. Big inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, bend your right knee, place the foot flat on the ground. Exhale. Moving through our twist. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, wrap the left arm around that right leg. Right hand comes behind you like a kickstand. Inhale, reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And exhale, begin to look behind you, pausing for a twist. Keep pressing that left knee down, pulling the left toes back towards you, flexing the foot. Couple big breaths here. Spine stacks nice and tall. Back hand is light. One more big breath. On your inhale, gently look forward, unwind. Exhale, straighten the right leg. Same stretch, other side. Inhale, left foot comes towards the mat. Exhale there. Big inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, wrap the right arm around the left leg. Left hand comes behind you like a kickstand. Inhale, crown of the head reaches up. And exhale, begin to look behind you. Keep pressing that right knee down, toes pull back towards you. Couple more big breaths here. Relax the jaw, soften your gaze. Imagine like your spine is the central axis that you're pivoting your body around. One more big breath. On your inhale, gently look forward, unwind, exhale, straighten your leg out. If you need to kind of bob the knees up and down a bit, feel free to do so. We're going to eventually lay down, so inch yourself forward if you need space. Reach those hands forward, and on an exhale, lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Your choice. If you want to give yourself one more big hug or add in a happy baby or Baddha Konasana with butterfly legs, feel free to do so. Give yourself whatever stretch, maybe even a twist you need, and then we'll eventually meet up for Shavasana. So listen to your body. When you're ready, find a beautiful resting pose that you can just totally relax in for the next couple moments. And take your time, only make your way to Shavasana when you are ready. Once you make your way to Shavasana, our final resting posture of class, gently extend the limbs, arms by your sides, legs extended if that feels okay for you. And gently begin to draw your eyes closed. begin to invite into your mind, your body, the space within and all around you, a soft, easy, and relaxed state. Let go of any conscious hold on your breath, allowing your body to breathe itself naturally. Surrender to the flow of the breath, letting go of control over breathing. Begin to relax your body even further, starting by softening the crown of your head. Relax your forehead, your eyebrows, soften the eyes. Relax your temples and the cheekbones. Soften your jaw. Relax your lips, your teeth, and float the tongue down away from the roof of your mouth. Soften your ears, the back of your head, and your scalp. Relax the back of your neck, the sides, the front, and allow the throat to open. Shoulders melt towards the ground beneath you as you relax the upper arms, the elbows. Soften the lower arms, the wrists. Relax the back of your hands, the palms, letting the fingers naturally curl inwards. Soften your chest, the rib cage, and the belly. Allow your back body to sink towards the ground beneath you. Relax your hips, your glutes, the pelvic area. As you soften the upper legs and the knees, relax the lower legs and the ankles. Allow your feet to fall heavy as every toe gets a little bit lighter. Allow this inner state of relaxation and ease to translate to your mind, softening the mind as though it's a muscle itself, letting it get heavy, let it melt and fade away. Allow your body to truly sink towards the support of the ground beneath you. Just like at the beginning of our time together, imagining like your body is a heavy winter cloak that covers you from head to toe. Imagining unzipping it and just letting it fall towards the ground, and what's left is a light, beautiful, sacred energy. And let yourself sink into this beautiful state, allowing yourself to soak in the goodness of your practice this evening. Gently begin to invite the awareness back into your body. Maybe you deepen your breath or add gentle wiggles to the toes, the fingers, the wrists and ankles. Take your time. Only when you feel ready, gently roll the body over to one side and pause there to rest in a fetal position. Again, take all the time you need. Only when you're ready, gently make your way all the way up to seated, keeping the eyes softly closed as you move. We'll meet in a comfortable seat, eventually with the eyes closed and the palms touching at heart center. Take a couple of moments to consciously observe how you feel right now. Bring your awareness to your mind. Observe the quality, the texture, how it feels. What word describes the state of your mind right now? Gently draw your awareness to your body and notice how it feels. What word describes the state of your body? And tune into your emotional well-being. What emotion do you feel right now? And just notice, become aware, and let it be. Gently give yourself a smile and truly thank yourself for showing up here this evening, for dedicating your time to simply being with yourself. And thank you so very, very much for sharing your beautiful energy and practice with me here this evening. The light in me truly honors the light in you. Namaste.